What? Oh goodness. Well, so much for that idea. So I noticed you're hungry, I gave you a Twinkie. Now we fly out, American fucking wolf. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're taking a look at 5.0 American Tank RB, and I'm showing off a couple of the premium vehicles that I was able to purchase during this sale. The American Focke-Wulf F8 is a decent airplane, but it suffers from the same issues as other Focke-Wulfs. That is, it has great guns and a fantastic roll rate and nothing else going for it. It's not faster than American planes or some of the other planes it'll encounter, especially at low altitudes. It does not turn well at all, and the rudder is a bit finicky when you're using mouse aim. If you take over and manually control the plane, it works much better, but you're still going to suffer from that. And look at this. Look at the turn circle on this thing. It just does not respond well at all. The elevator is just useless. However, those guns firing Minengeschoss are just as effective as they always were. The Focke-Wulf F8 in the American tree, I've noticed, is really fun for Tank RB because you can stay low and attack light targets. You can totally shred AA and open-topped vehicles, and you can wipe out enemy planes very rapidly if they don't notice you. But here we have a yak, I think, on our tail, and there's just nothing we can do. He outflies us in every way at this altitude. He can gain energy faster, he can retain it just fine, and you see we're doing some defensive flying here, and I don't have a lot of practice with the Focke-Wulf, but we managed to preserve ourselves just enough to stay alive and hope for allies to back us up. But even if we manage to get this guy to overshoot, all he's got to do is pull up and come back for another pass, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Look at that. He just missed taking off our wing there. We pull some fast rolls, drop our energy, get him to overshoot, and we've got nothing to follow him with, and there's just nothing we can do. Here, another enemy plane, and we're turning to engage, see if we can get him, and the elevator is just so anemic on this plane. It's no good. So that was the end of that match, and it turned out pretty well for us. But, you know, it's just kind of disappointing, the potential that's missed on that plane. So that's one of the reasons I'm not going for the French Focke-Wulf. It's the same model of plane, and I wouldn't expect anything special out of it. Now this next match is going to be a little bit framey, a little bit buggy, and I apologize for that, but I was converting a video in Shadow Play at the same time that I got into this match, and this just turned out being such a good match that I went with this beginning buggy footage anyway. If it hadn't have been so good, I would have shown you something else, but we're gonna do very well in this one and show off some of the T20's abilities. Once more, the T-Pack is still on sale. If you want the best, the most fun American vehicles, the T29, the T114, the T20, all of these are a lot of fun, and they're all in one bundle that's at 50% off right now until the 10th. So you have, let's see, one day after I post this video, I think. So if you haven't watched this video in the first day, never mind. And also, if if my wife asks where, you know, $25, $30 went, I had to buy tea. No, just kidding. So I got this T20 when it was half off during the Christmas sale. I spent all my Christmas money on War Thunder, and no regrets. So here's something that's tough to face. that looks like a KV-85, and the turret on that tank is very beefy. The sides of it are extremely difficult to pen. I'm trying to get a look at his cupola or anything I can get through on, but the hardened stellinium that makes up that turret is really difficult to punch through. It's dangerous for me to expose myself here to his 85, but I have more armor on my turret than he does. And we get a pen on the front there that was absolutely dissatisfying. All we managed to do was take out the driver. We penned right through the middle of the frontal plate. That seems a bit bogus to me. We divert our attention quickly to take down an ASU. And because this tank, the T20, is one of the few American tanks that gets a 50 cal in the coax, you're able to kick up dust even more effectively. Now we got shot in our turret front and our cannon breech is down, so we're not able to take this guy out, but we can spot him for our team and call for support. Now we're trying to just do a little bit of a wiggle. If we can angle the frontal plate just a bit, we have a good chance of bouncing, and that's exactly what we do. He gets taken down by our allies, and we miraculously survive this initial encounter. That was a tough fight, and thankfully our team backed us up there. It's entirely due to their efforts that I survived, and that is the last time that I will be complimenting my team in this match. I'm not one to complain when my team doesn't do well, because I know that this game is not easy and stuff happens, but they're going to crumble. And I'm not even going to notice because things are going to be going so well for me in the next few minutes, but later on I'll definitely understand that if it's to be, it's up to me. So with that in mind, we're capturing the point, and it'll soon be time for us to move on. This is the point where I decide if I want to push up the river, I guess you'd call it, or go around the side. We decide to go up the river, and meeting no resistance, we get all the way to the enemy's, what would you call this, deployment zone, so to speak. It's just outside of their spawn. They pretty much all have to come through here. We take a few hits that go into our engine compartment, but no real problem. The side armor on the T20 is stronger than the Sherman, and that goes a long way. Speaking of stronger than the Sherman, we managed to somehow punch through the front armor of that T-34. I'm so used to bouncing off of the frontal plate that it always surprises me when we manage to take one down, even though the cannon on the T-20 is supposed to have 125 millimeters of pen. Against angled armor, it often underperforms quite noticeably. We check that corner just in case there's someone lurking there. I'm not used to seeing both of those wrecked tanks, so I'm a little bit cautious. And now is the time for caution because we're approaching the enemy spawn, and my goal here is not to camp the spawn, but to work around the area and take down enemy reinforcements from the side or rear before they can come into battle. And we see a enemy tank that is spawned in, so we're going to be aggressive here, and we manage to go right through the lower glacis, blowing up everything in the tank. That is what I've come to expect from the American 76mm. Does this have the long 75 or the 76? They perform basically the same, so I get them confused all the time. Now I'm being crazy because if there's anybody camping this area here where people often set up to long range snipe, and it's quite surprising that I haven't noticed anyone there. There's generally 2 or 3 people in that location in SPGs like the Dicker Max or the Nashorn, but we managed to not see anyone there. And of course that's a dangerous move to check that area the way I did, because it's really easy to get shot in the side from the spawn. Speaking of which, he was not checking his corners as he was deploying from the base. We managed to take him down, and again, we're not camping here, we just happened to be in this location when he spawned. It's just bad luck for him. And this SPG fails to notice even when we donk our shot into the dirt next to him. Either he has no game audio turned on, or he's just got his blinders on. He was just moving to that spot where people often camp, and with the low profile of the... oh, what was that? The Stug. With the low profile of the Stug and that good long 75 German gun, that can perform very well. So we've racked up a few kills, and we're very confident. At this point, I don't mind if I die, so I'm being hyper aggressive. I'm going to chase that SPAA back around the building. I know he's going to play ring around the rosy, but we'll see what we can do here. Usually when they come around a side like that, they want to get a shot at our side armor, and that's exactly what he was trying to do. We managed to line up our frontal plate, and before we can take advantage of our position, we get finished off. But 6 kills, 1 assist, that's not a bad way to start the match. We end up taking out the Jumbo and immediately get side shot by a KV-2 that was overwatching the spawn. So this is a time where once again I get to use one of my favorite vehicles, the M24 Chaffee. Now this is my favorite for a couple of reasons. One, I made a Midna themed tank skin for this tank a while back, and I haven't applied the American one yet, but it's on my Japanese Chaffee, and it looks fantastic. It's one of my best skins that I've made. It just ended up turning out really nice, in my opinion. Again, it's one of those anime style skins that doesn't really belong on a real tank, but I like the way it looks. So we're hunting down this KV-2, and we managed to get a few shots into that plane, pick up another assist. I got no problem with that. And you see his head popping up there, he sees us. Now can you imagine this showdown? He's got probably another high explosive round. Interesting that he chose to use AG, which will absolutely wipe out my tank if he hits anywhere near me. So I need to disable his gun before he gets a shot at me. And thankfully, I do have still a few people left on my team, so I scout him. And back to the other reason I like the M24, besides the fact that there's a few custom camos that look fantastic on it. At this battle rating, it still has decent mobility. Now this is a battle rating 3.3 tank with a gun that functions reasonably well at 3.3, but significantly less well as soon as it starts facing things like KV-1s. And even the add-on armor, the tracks that they slap all over the later Panzer IVs, can nullify your AP round. Now if I was smart, I would have taken the side shot on the turret plate. That angled plate was just to where I could probably pen it, but I'm not really familiar with how well the AP AG round fares against the KV-2. It's been a while. Again, I could have finished him off here, but I go for the turret ring shot instead, thinking that that thinner armor, it's only around 50 millimeters there at the turret ring, would be enough for me to go through, and you see I'm hitting it flat on. But it looks like the turret ring module itself is absorbing all of the shots, so that's something a bit new. They've adjusted some of the internal module stats, and he fired off his round, so we were able to get through, finally, that cheek armor. So the M24, a surprisingly reliable tank, even in an up tier, and we managed to get a light for the tree, and our tanker medal for the day. Well guys, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and check out the T20. It's a good tank. Bye-bye.